Emily, how about you just do a quick introduction here of who you're sitting there with?
Well, I'm Emily Haynes, and this is Jimmy Shaw. We're the founding members of Metric.
We're going to start with some songs and then we'll have a little bit of chatting. What do you guys want to start with first?
I think we should play for you guys right away the title track for my new record. It's called Synthetica. Some of us are wild ones, ever underwanted, I believe. Lining up in the background, waiting for the crowd shot to be seen. In the shadow of the big screen, everybody begs to be redeemed. Hey, I'm not Synthetica. Oh, I'll keep the life that I've got. We were never meant to crawl in for the bait, we never will. I can think for myself, I've got something no pill could ever kill. Hey, I'm not Synthetica. Oh, I'll keep the life that I've got. Oh, so hard to resist Synthetica. Oh, no drug is stronger than me, Synthetica. We're all the time confined to fit the mold, but I won't ever let them make a loser of my soul. Hey, I'm not Synthetica. Oh, I'll keep the life that I've got. Oh, I'll keep the life that I've got. Ooh, I'll keep the life that I've got. Ooh, I'll keep the life that I've got.
89.3 of The Current, you are listening to Metric live here in the UBS Forum. I never, ever asked this question, Emily, but can you tell me what the inspiration is behind a song called Synthetica?
Well, it's many things. I'm sure a lot of your listeners are writers and musicians themselves, familiar with the process. It's, at least for us, it's a lot of, getting on your knees and praying at the feet of the piano. And the writing process is really intuitive for us. It's really a lot of subconscious things are going on. There's not really a cognitive thread. Interestingly for us with this record, when we listen back, there really is a thread. There are a lot of thematic things that kept recurring melodically, lyrically, otherwise. But, it's looking at what's real and what's artificial. It's like, in Synthetica could be a place. It could be a horrible person who's like half robot, half human, who I feel like sometimes I walk down the street and I see those people, especially if I'm in LA. And or it's the look at, even on the most surface level, it's synthesis, it's synthesizers, it's the sonic landscape that Jimmy created in producing this record. So
That's interesting. And you say that with the songs having a thematic thread, that was not on purpose. That was accidental. You just sort of realized that after the fact.
Yeah, it kept happening. It was funny, especially, I mean, and Jimmy can attest to this. The word Synthetica, which was an idea that I had tossed around from when I was writing fantasies. The idea of this nightmarish person at the time, and he had written what would become the title track, Synthetica, in this kind of synth symphony, is what I always call it, like with this wall of synths that he'd created into really a sonic world. And when he sent it to me, the first thing I thought of was this character that I had kind of created a portrait of. And then as the song developed, it wouldn't really yield the meaning we were pushing towards. So we scrapped this person, and then it developed this whole other meaning. So, and then on other songs, the question of artifice and reality versus illusion, or the original versus the reproduction. In our, like, the whole thing is Warhol at this point. It feels like, it kept coming up. And certainly when we looked back at the songs that had made it on the record, they're all concerning that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We were really inspired by. Well, one day Emily walked into the studio with this, with a bunch of artwork by this group of architects in the '60s called Super Studio, which was came out of Italy, and there were all of these images of this sort of the '60s version of the future, and this sort of weird combination of nature and artificial, and these this grid world that had been created within sort of like a natural environment, like a desert. And we were really fascinated by the combination of the two things coming together, and whether what was sort of being built and what was paving over the old was necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. And it just sort of brought up like a lot of interesting emotions about where we're going as a culture and as a species, and like what's happening in the world. It's like we're changing everything so fast, and we don't really know exactly where it's going. It's hard to tell whether it's good or bad or what it actually is. So it was just more of a moment of stopping and reflecting on how we feel about it and what we're actually seeing happen right in front of us.
Emily, do you read a lot of fiction?
Lately, no. Why, are you busting me on my Philip K. Dick
No,
collection? Or what? Someone told me Synthetica was a sci-fi pop opera, which is kind of the coolest thing I've ever heard. But
That
I
is
feel
pretty
like I'm
cool.
getting all these questions now. It's like, oh, here we go.
No, I was just curious because I wondered about, as a writer, how much you write in the third person or how much you're actually writing as fiction.
Yeah, it's funny, because I feel as though my first person is a combination of perspectives. I live very much in a community of friends, not only in my band, but in my life, other musicians. And I feel as though when I'm writing, I often shift between pronouns. I don't know, it's a hard thing to really express, but when it lands, I know when it's I and I know when it's you. Mm-hmm. And in fact, with the song Synthetica, we struggled a lot with, there's never supposed to be anything accusatory. It's not like, hey, you're not Synthetica. It's like, and it's one of the things that I really hone in on in the writing process, really meticulously, because it does change the meaning.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, are you guys going to play a couple more tunes for us now?
Sure, I thought I might wander over to the piano. This next song is from the new record. It's called Breathing Underwater. Y'all good there, Jimmy?
I am.
I'm the blade, you're the knife, I'm the weight, you're the kite. They were right when they said we were breathing underwater, out of place all the time, in a world that wasn't mine to take. I'll wait. Is this my life? Oh, am I breathing underwater? Is this my life? Oh, am I breathing underwater? blade. You're the knife, I'm the weight. You're the kite. They were right when they said we should never meet our heroes when they bowed at their feet. In the end, it wasn't me. Is this my life? Oh, am I breathing underwater? Is this my life? Oh, am I breathing underwater? Nights are days. We beat a path through the mirrored maze. I can see the end. Ah, but it hasn't happened yet. I can see the end. Ah, but it hasn't happened yet. Is this my life? Oh, am I